Behind the impeccable facade of a model family man and future king lies a man who, too, makes mistakes. And more often than not, these mistakes have very specific names attached to them. We'll tell you who's who in the famous trio that has accompanied Prince William since his turbulent youth, and exactly what sins have earned them the disdain of the ideal Princess of Wales. Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. The prim and proper English have their own version of this proverb, and the British tabloids gleefully brought it up in the spring of 2017. Prince William's vacation in Switzerland sparked the biggest royal scandal of that year. While Kate Middleton stayed in London with the children, and the entire royal family attended the important Commonwealth Day service, the future monarch was conquering the slopes of Verbier. But if only it had been just about skiing. Amateur videos from nightclubs instantly leaked online. William performing a ridiculous drunken dad dance, a sea of beer, loud music, and, most embarrassing for the palace, open flirting and a high five with Australian model Sophie Taylor. The public was in shock, but insiders just shrugged. No surprise, considering who exactly was accompanying the Crown Prince on this exciting adventure. Meet Guy Pelly, aka GP, Tom Van Straubenzee, aka Vance, and James Meade, aka Badger. They're well-known London party animals, regulars at exclusive parties, and William's most loyal friends, to whom he's simply Willie. One telling fact speaks volumes about Catherine's true feelings toward this trio. She did not deem it appropriate to accompany her husband to the wedding of any of these gentlemen. Classic English diplomacy in action. And if you get to know them better, the princess's motives become perfectly clear. Guy Pelly, GP, Provocateur and king of nightlife. Guy Pelly is a man whose reputation precedes him by far. He and William became friends in 2001 at the prestigious Beaufort Hunt. But the real passion that brought the young men together was by no means pheasant hunting, but rather a love of rather dubious pastimes. GP grew up in a wealthy family. His late father was a successful car dealer, and his mother, Lady Caroline Pelli, was a renowned sculptor. His parents invested a fortune in their son's education, but Guy preferred other universities. He was expelled with a bang from one prestigious college for smoking illegal substances. Incidentally, the very young Prince Harry was also implicated in that same scandal. Here is just a brief list of his exploits. At age 21, Guy stripped down to his underwear at an official Prince's Trust charity concert. In 2006, he spent a long time explaining to the London police why he had climbed over the fence of Westonbirt, a closed girls' boarding school, late at night. His driver's license was revoked 3 times, once for excessive speeding and twice for driving under the influence. Fun fact, it was Guy who convinced Prince Harry to wear that infamous Nazi uniform to a costume party. Pelli himself, demonstrating his unique sense of humor, showed up dressed as Queen Elizabeth II. Pelli made a name and a fortune for himself in the nightlife business. He was behind the creation of London's hottest night spots, Mahiki and Tontaria, where the royal youth spent thousands of pounds on cocktails served in pirate chests. His business history is riddled with scandals. He managed to leave his partners high and dry and owed the British Treasury more than £500,000 in taxes. But when you're the best friend of the future king, many doors open on their own. Why can't Kate stand him? The Princess of Wales has a huge grudge against GP. When William and Kate broke up in 2007, it was Guy who instantly organized a bachelor vacation for his friend on a yacht in Greece, hiring exclusively young female models as the crew. Later, he was the one who organized William's secret bachelor party on the eve of the royal wedding. Kensington Palace took unprecedented security measures to ensure that not a single detail of that night leaked to the press, and Kate would probably prefer never to find out what went on behind closed doors. Tom Van Straubenzee, Vance. A womanizer with a distinguished family background. Tom Van Straubenzee, or simply Vance, has known William since childhood. Their families share a long history. Tom's parents, descendants of a wealthy Dutch family, were friends with Princess Diana, who, after her divorce from Charles, even briefly dated Tom's uncle, Willie. Tom was the prince's best friend at school in Berkshire. He was one of the best men at the royal wedding in 2011, and later became Princess Charlotte's godfather. He now works in luxury real estate, dealing exclusively with millionaires. Vance has earned a solid reputation as a tireless womanizer. In 2013, he married Lady Melissa, Missy, Percy, the youngest daughter of the Duke of Northumberland. The wedding was truly magical. The celebration took place at Alnwick Castle, the very same one that served as Hogwarts in the Harry Potter films. William was the best man at the wedding. Kate, who was pregnant with Prince George, stayed home. And for good reason. William was the best man at this wedding. Kate, who was pregnant with Prince George, stayed home. And for good reason. First, in his role as best man, Prince William really let loose. The heir to the throne returned home with a terrible hangover and a knocked-out front tooth, which he broke while dancing wildly at the reception. Second, Jacka Craig, William's first teenage love and Kate's main rival, was invited to the wedding. What's more, it was Jacka who was tasked with showering the newlyweds with rose petals right in front of the tipsy prince. Tom and Melissa's marriage fell apart in 2016, and this became yet another headache for Kate. The thing is, Melissa is the closest friend of her younger sister, Pippa Middleton. Kate even tried to play peacemaker by inviting the estranged couple to a ski resort in Courchevel, but Tom preferred to return to the single life. Catherine has no direct complaints against Tom, but his reputation as a womanizer inevitably casts a shadow on the prince's reputation as well. James Meade, Badger, the quiet troublemaker. James met William while attending Eton. He is the son of the legendary Richard Meade, a three-time Olympic equestrian champion. Of the three, James is perhaps the safest choice for Kate, though he is not without his own flaws. It was James who, back in the day, talked the prince into a notorious wild night out at London's elite cuckoo club on Piccadilly. And it is Badger who is considered William's main partner in those very drunken dances that amuse internet users so much. Nevertheless, Catherine feels the least antipathy toward him. And there's a compelling reason for this. During that very difficult breakup between William and Kate in 2007, James, at the prince's personal request, became a sort of bodyguard and escort for the young woman. He gallantly took her out into society, shielding her from the vulture-like paparazzi, while William sorted out his feelings. Kate hasn't forgotten this loyalty. When James participated in a charity boxing tournament in 2008, she was the one shouting words of support the loudest from the stands. Today, James Meade works for the surveying firm Savills in Suffolk, and after his father's death in 2015, he inherited a fortune worth many millions. The families are neighbors. The Meades, like the Cambridges, now the Welshes, live in Norfolk, which makes their get-togethers frequent. James even had the honor of becoming one of Princess Charlotte's godparents, and Kate has become close friends with his wife, Lady Laura Marsh. Kate Middleton has had to accept that her husband's childhood friends aren't going anywhere. They are a living reminder of the days when William was just a guy, unburdened by the crown, duty, and protocol. And although the Princess of Wales has mastered the art of navigating these tricky situations, ignoring their weddings for valid reasons, she always keeps her finger on the pulse. Because she knows that if William suddenly decides to relive his youth, one of this trio is bound to be right there, holding yet another glass of beer.